What up, my people? ¿Qué pasa, mi gente? Welcome to Hoy en Día TV. Bienvenidos a otro episodio de Hoy en Día. I am your host, Yessi Rodriguez, and I'm going to bring out my co-host, Manny Morales. Welcome to the stage, Manny. Oh, we don't see Manny. You there, Manny? You disappeared?
Bendiciones, mi gente. ¿Cómo estamos? How's everything going? Estamos frizando aquí en Florida. Mira, manda FEMA porque we need something. It's cold down here. It's really cold.
You look like you're about to go skiing.
Yes, it's cold. It's not supposed to be this cold in Florida. It's going to be 29 degrees tomorrow. Mira, manda FEMA porque necesitamos algo.
That is funny.
How you doing?
I am doing great.
I was just doing that for comic relief, but it's hot.
Yeah.
It's cold outside, though. It's cold outside. How you been? How's your week been?
My week has been great. I cannot complain. Productive.
Good.
And just pushing forward, it's just another beautiful day in the neighborhood, like Mr. Rogers used to say.
Yes, definitely. Cold, but still beautiful day. Actually, the sun came out today here. So it's been gone for like the whole week. I'm like, come back, sun, please.
Okay. Well, over here 2 days ago, we had snow. Some parts got about an inch. So it ranged based on where you were at in North Carolina between 1 inch to 6 inches. And obviously the western part got a little bit more because they're in the mountain area. But nevertheless, hey, we survived it. And it was cool because it was like a winter wonderland, but then it lasted for a few hours. And then the next day came, the sun was like, doo-doo-doo. It just absorbed everything. And then you looked out. Like literally, I woke up the next day thinking I was going to go out. I'd be here putting on my snow boots. And all of a sudden I go out and I'm like, ¿Qué le pasó a la nieve? What happened to the snow? I don't see nothing.
But
I feel like I catfished by the snow a little bit, but it is what it is.
We actually got snow here. It was the slight flurries, but that was the first time for Florida, I believe.
Are you serious? I was going to say, I don't think that's normal for Florida. You all are really close to the equator for it to even be snowing.
Yes. Pamela? Yeah, I don't know how we got snow. It's one of the viewers asking, how did Florida actually get snow? I have no clue. It's not supposed to snow here in Florida. It's just cold. Like we need some FEMA assistance down here. They need to bring the sun. Straight up.
You say FEMA, I say this. Whoever's watching that has control of the HAARP machines.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes. Please stop.
Please stop messing with the weather. Between Helene and all these hurricanes, LA being affected by wildfires, please stop messing with those heart machines. We are fed up. Para ya. Mana. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué tú estás jodiendo? ¿Por qué estás chavando la pita? Como se dice en Puerto Rico, chavando la pita. It's like, why?
It's just crazy. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 29 degrees first thing, but it's going to warm up. So I think tomorrow is probably the last day that it's going to be really, really cold. So, yes.
That is
I got my fingers crossed. Like, please. We can't take it anymore. Like, I'm at work. My hands and my feet are freezing. It was cold. Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm inside the house and I freeze because this is not my type of weather. So I can only imagine you being, because you work outside.
We work in a warehouse, but you might as well say it's outside because they keep the doors open. So it was just, it was crazy.
Entiendo. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, Pamela, the wildfires definitely needed this snow for real. And this cold in California.
And that's another thing too that kind of has me like, because me being analytical, right, and just kind of trying to figure things out here from a perspective of, let's look at this. The area where it's being affected by wildfires is really, really close to the ocean. So the ocean section, there's a lot of water, right? Mm-hmm. And so mentally, I can't grasp or fathom why they can't just use or absorb that ocean water and like put it in these big tanks that are mobile and then start kind of spreading it and then kind of having like some sort of rotation, right? Where it's like all hands on deck. People are filling these large water tanks up because that's what endless amount of water that's out there. And when I Googled it, guess what Google said, which was one of the most interesting, bizarre, like it made zero sense to me.
What they say, mind your business?
No, that's not what it said. What it did say, which I found really like, it was really silly, was that apparently firefighters and individuals or companies that have these types of machines don't use water that is considered ocean water because it's salty and it corrodes their equipment. You can replace equipment. That's replaceable.
All them houses are burned because they don't want to. Man,
you see the same way you feel and thought. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, what?
Stop it.
Zero sense to me. No entiendo. Eso como que lógicamente no en mi mente no puedo entender. Really? Because it corrodes your equipment? Like seriously?
That is wild. I don't understand that.
So yes, that's what we have to deal with. That's the level of pettiness that we have to deal with.
Wow.
But hey, who am I, right? Who am I? I'm just one voice in the large choir of voices.
Exactly.
And this week, what was interesting, Manny, is obviously we had the presidential inauguration this past Monday.
Yes.
And since then, since the presidential inauguration, there has been deportation already. So at least 300 illegal immigrants that are classified as criminals, which include murderers, child molesters, etc., anything under a criminal umbrella, have been deported. And areas that have been affected so far are Boston, Denver, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Seattle, Washington, D.C., and Miami. And this is as of what I'm aware of from the New York Post. So this is what I'm reading from the New York Post. I'm sure other places were affected, but because these are major hub areas and considered, and even some of those are considered what's called sanctuary cities.
Okay.
Or sanctuary states. So what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, we had them here for, well, no, because some of them came in illegally. So I agree sending the criminals back to their country to, essentially fend for themselves, because we really don't know what their country is going to do. Being that the crime happened here, they might not get charges in their country. So they might just be set free and essentially go back. So it's kind of double-edged sword. Like, you should keep them because, if they go back to their country might not honor, the charge, and they might set them free. So they'll be back eventually. But I just feel like, I think they should have just kept them in jail, to be honest with you. It's sad. It's definitely sad.
Right. And in talking about the realm of politics, yes. I started thinking, like, I'm curious to do like a poll, like how many people know what the Senate office is compared to what I call the HORS, House of Representatives. HORS. HORS, what does that stand for? When you say HORS, what in your mind, what does that read?
You can tell you're kind of from the hood.
I mean, spell it in your mind. HORS, horse, right? The horse. So between the Senate office and the horse, and I know it sounds a little funny, but that's good because hopefully the viewers and audience are laughing because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to entertain y'all while we try to educate y'all. That's what we do here. We keep it 100. Entertain, educate, enlighten, inspire. That's what we're here for, baby. Hoy en día TV. But yes, so I'm curious to know how many people know the Senate office compared to the House of Representatives, and the importance of a midterm election. If we did a poll, Manny, what would your theory be of how many people really know the difference and the importance of an actual midterm election?
Not a lot of people, probably, because there's some people that are not really political. And some people that actually vote, um, because they like a person, not because of what they stand for and their agendas, just because it's not somebody that they don't like. Um, and there's just like I don't follow politics, so I don't really know either.
Okay.
Not really a political person. Like why can't we just live in peace and harmony? Why do we have to allow a government to tell us how to live and how to govern ourselves? Let's go back to the Wild West, where if somebody did something to you, you go to their house and shoot them up, and that's
Oh
it.
my God, no, bendito gosh, where's the grace and the mercy? Oh my Jesus, me, huh?
I mean,
I mean, I see your point, and I respect your
right,
point of view. For me, I appreciate the governance part, but I feel that us as a people, we don't realize how much control we do have. And I'm glad you mentioned that you're not fully familiar with the midterm elections, because I'm actually going to enlighten the viewers, those who don't know, why is midterm elections important. Midterm elections are held in the US every 2 years. So in your state, what I encourage each of you to do, regardless of what part of the United States you're at, look to see, just focus on the candidates that are running every 2 years for midterm elections, because it's midway through the 4-year presidential term. So right now we have Trump in office. So in 2 years or what have you, they're going to get a notice saying, hey, this is midterm elections.
right,
I've spoken to people and they've admitted that they don't really go out to vote for midterm elections.
right,
So what happens is midterm elections are important because they shape Congress. So the results determine which party controls the House and the Senate, which impacts the president's ability to pass legislations, different bills, what have you, because that's how each state gets represented by different Senates and House of Representatives, etc. So the House has 435 seats.
okay,
And about 1/3 of the Senate seats. So it ranges between 33 and 34. And then from there, it also shapes your local office, your state office, including governors, state legislatures, and other officials within your specific state. So these are going to be the voices of your state, whoever it is that you vote into it. But you have to do your homework too, because you need to know who you're voting for and what they stand for, and if you agree or disagree, what have you, right? And so from there, they serve as a referendum on the sitting president's performance. So it's a shift in party control that can create significant challenges for the administration. So for example, if we have we have a whole 435 seats, right? And then there's a bill being discussed, there's different voices based on who was elected to represent your state to say yes, no, what have you. And sometimes that determines a decision based on the number of votes for a certain bill or topic, what have you, that they're discussing, right? That's why it's important. State and local impact. So the midterms also influence the policies closer to your state or where you're at through the election of who is governor, legislature, local leaders, etc. And in my research here, it does say these elections often have lower voter turnout than that of the presidential, because they're like, oh, they voted so-and-so, and then they don't realize the impact of a certain individual winning, but that's because you didn't take the opportunity to use your voter right to vote for who you felt was important to represent your voice. So hopefully that shed some light to those individuals who didn't know or wasn't aware of why midterm elections are truly, truly important. And honestly, I feel that they're a little bit more important than that of the presidential election.
I could see that. I can definitely see that. I still want to go back to the Wild West though. Let's go.
You are so funny. You are so funny. Hilarious. So we have an amazing guest patiently waiting behind the scenes that I had the honor to meet. How long ago have I met? It's been a good amount, I would say. Pleasant, very talented, just so many great aspects about our special guest today's own intro, and tell us who he is. So without further ado, we're going to invite our special guest, Antonio Dewar.
Yo, bendiciones, bendiciones. We can't hear you. Your microphone is off, sir. There you go.
Thank you guys for inviting
Hey.
me. Pleasure
You're
being
welcome.
on your show.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Yes. Welcome to Hoy en Día TV. Bienvenido, Antonio. So how are you? How's everything going?
I'm better than amazing. Yeah,
Beautiful. We are
Okay, something's going
We're
on with Yessie. She keeps
excited to have you. So tell us,
nobody.
who is Antonio Dewar?
Oh wow! I thought I sent my bio in so that you guys know. I am a business owner. I am a father of two beautiful young ladies. My favoriteest person in the entire world is a 6-year-old, my granddaughter. I've been in the entertainment industry for about 10 years. I actually ran away from it for pretty much all my life, but have been around it sporadically leading up to this point. I kind of gave in again almost 10 years ago. And actually, I'm the CEO, founder of the HASS Entertainment Corporation, under which is HASS Music, HASS Casting, HASS Productions, and a myriad of other things.
You definitely have a following in the chat right now. Everybody's saying hello. Everybody's saying welcome. So tell everybody welcome. Thank you for
definitely
tuning in today.
I can imagine it is the cast of my latest project,
I'm pretty sure.
Club television series. So hello to the cast. Thank you guys for coming out and supporting.
Definitely. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. Like what got you into music, movies? What sparked that interest?
2013, I was I'm diabetic, and I actually passed out January 7th. I went to work, passed out. After coming home, I spent that entire year in and out of the hospital. Had my first ever surgery. Was getting ready to go back to work in 2014, and I encountered a young lady, and she asked me to, she just kept kind of touching base with me, saying that she was interested in an assistant. She never really came out and said anything about what she was looking for. And so, I just kind of shrugged it off, and then ultimately she asked me directly. I said, this is a paid gig, and she sent me a price, and I was like, okay, I'm your guy. My next question was, so what am I doing? What do you do? She turned out to be a model. She had a bail bonding agency as well as a record label. She introduced me to another gentleman. We put together a project called the National Biker Awards in Memphis, Tennessee, which was 11 events, 3 days, that just kind of honored veteran motorcycle clubs and individuals in motorcycle clubs throughout the whole world, and specifically the United States, but we actually have some international bikers that actually were in attendance, and it kind of went from there. I went from just some obscure title to the COO of that company.
Oh wow.
And then my wife came in, and she saw me at an event during CIAA weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina, held by Kevin Fox. And that was the first time she'd ever seen me with a microphone, actually interacting with artists and stuff of that nature. And it was crazy because the last, after we left, Charlotte's about 2.5 hours from us, and she said nothing. I asked her, do you want something to drink? Do you want to stop and get something to eat? Whatever. And everything was met with no. I'm good. No. And yes, she's sitting there shaking her head. That's never a good thing.
Right.
Hmm.
And we, about halfway through the trip, we hit the 24 bypass of going around Greensboro, and she started talking, and I call it diarrhea of the mouth because she started talking and did not stop. And it started off with, "I've never seen you move with such zeal and excitement, and if you can do it for somebody else, you can damn sure do it for yourself." And there was an onslaught of conversations, lasted for about 30 days until I finally said, "Okay." And HASS Entertainment was born.
Awesome. That's definitely amazing. Definitely amazing.
That is truly, truly remarkable. So let's peel the onion and go back to the beginning of
Right.
your story. So, growing up, did you ever see yourself or determine that there was some form of passion in this type of industry? Like, did you ever have an inclination, like, maybe when I grow up, I can do this? Or how was it growing up for you, and
Absolutely,
especially correlating to this type of industry?
absolutely not. I had no desire. In fact, I ran from it. My cousin was a huge promoter in this area. Goes by the name of Mr. Freeze for any old heads out there. Um, so I had access to the entertainment industry growing up. But I never wanted to be that guy. I never wanted to own a club or, to work in the entertainment industry. Never wanted to be, in front of the screen or with a microphone in my hand, you know. And then in high school, um, upon graduation, a really good friend of mine went off to the army. And when he came back and was the DJ for K97.5, the biggest hip hop station here in the Raleigh Durham area. And so I was always carrying crates of records, going to different events, and so I got a chance to meet all of the DJs and radio personalities, but yet and still never wanted to go into it.
Hmm. That's interesting. Yes, he's frozen. I don't know where she. Oh, there she go. She's back.
Oh,
She's a robot.
the cold weather. Sorry, I'm
She's a
blaming cold
robot.
weather. I don't know what is going on.
It's the Wi-Fi.
Can y'all hear me and see me okay now?
You gotta pay your Wi-Fi
Yeah.
bill. Look.
It's on auto pay, so it pays itself. So I think it's just time to change Wi-Fi's. That's probably what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I never had a desire. And probably if I had not gotten sick in 2013 and just had that offer because of the fact that had worked in a year, um, probably would have never even thought about getting in the industry.
Hmm.
You
And
mentioned
you,
that you ran from it. Why did you initially run from the industry and then eventually gave it the opportunity? I mean, which I'm assuming it pertained to your wife giving you that talk, that pep talk. But why initially did you run from the industry?
Um, I never wanted to be that guy. I never wanted to be. My goals were always to do something more academic. I've always been into math, numbers, accounting, and stuff of that nature. So I never really wanted to be that club owner or that artist. It just never had an appeal to me.
Mm-hmm.
okay. Okay. So what did you do before this? Like what was your career of choice?
Corporate, a little bit of everything: finance, self-taught accounting, or accountant. I've done business development. I've gone into different businesses and helped them with their corporate structuring and stuff of that nature,
Nice.
making sure that they were compliant. So starting the business aspect of things wasn't a far-fetched plan. It's just the industry. I just had no. I always had an interest in the industry from an audience standpoint. Never really had this thought of being.
The front man.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's definitely interesting.
Yeah,
So throughout the process, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
my wife definitely had a vision.
Well, thank
Well,
you
I'm
to
glad
your
she
wife.
gave you that motivation.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So throughout the process, I can't imagine it being easy. So what have been some of the obstacles that
Yes.
you faced, and how did you overcome those challenges and obstacles?
Yes.
Um, I can't say that it was easy, but I don't have a tremendous amount of struggles as far as my affiliations, my connections. People have been drawn to is up. I feel that the my ultimate goal and my ultimate purpose is the project that I'm working on now, but I could not be working on that project had I not started with the record label, then the model and talent agency, and then so forth and so on. Because all of those ingredients have actually led to the position that we're in now.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. People, when they look from the outside in, because everything is, it looks, you know, a, it's easier looking outside in, but people don't realize a lot of the work and determination and the drive that you really need, especially within yourself, to keep pushing. And I'm speaking also from myself,
Right.
doing all the things that I do. So, what is it that continues to be that fire that helps your engine to keep going, to continue to persevere, to push forward, and to really continue to challenge yourself to reach new levels that you didn't think you could reach?
Well, one of the things with me is I've had some great people in my life, and specifically in the entertainment industry. I actually have 8 mentors, and they come from a broad spectrum of the entertainment industry. I do have some that are just business mentors that have nothing to do with the entertainment industry, and they continue to push me. But it's like there's a connection behind every other door. So they've been tremendous in helping with my mindset, but also connecting me with the appropriate people at the appropriate times. I get to learn from their mistakes without ever having to make them.
That's awesome. Because there's a lot of mistakes that people make that they wish they hadn't made. And that's kind of my next question. Like, if you can go back, would you change anything? Or like as far as like, the
I,
pitfalls would, stuff like that.
I wouldn't change a thing. Um, everything that I want, everything that I've gone through, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent, um, it's part of a learning process.
Hmm.
So you either get a blessing or you get a lesson.
Right.
And
Definitely.
oftentimes those lessons, especially those hard lessons that where you fall down, you get your knees scuffed up, and elbows torn up.
Hmm.
Those are the most valuable lessons.
Yep.
They doesn't feel good at the time, but at the end of the day, you recognize that that's not a direction that you want to go in, and so it definitely shapes and molds you. So I would not go back and change anything.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Because there's a lot of people out there that are in the process of trying to become, do the entrepreneur or, get into the industry, and they, you know, get faced with that adversity and like, oh, I'm done. I can't do it. And then, they're sitting at home looking at TV, and woulda, shoulda, couldas, come to their minds. And it's like, we try to encourage our viewers to just stay consistent, never give up. Once you step through that door, you shouldn't have that inclination to give up, because what was the purpose of stepping through the door for? Like, it's a
Exactly.
different world on this side of that door, you know,
Yeah.
and it's
One of
like,
the one of the things that motivates me is a quote that I heard, and I'm paraphrasing, that you know if you want to find the most dreams and goals and desires, the place that you can go is to a cemetery,
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many
Yes.
unrealized goals and dreams. People
Mhm.
allow life to beat them up. My thought process is, if you can't see where you need to go, as long as you can see that first step, and you just look at everything as being your next first step.
Right.
Absolutely. Antonio, in your profession, you have the opportunity to work with so many talented individuals that come from just different walks of life, different experience levels, whether it be a beginner to experienced. What are some of the things or words that you would share, especially for the beginners getting into the door, getting familiar with the industry? What would be some of the food for thought or words of encouragement that you would share with a beginner coming into the industry to help them grow in the industry and be a bigger and better person? Because, and I say that because a lot of times in my experience, I notice if people don't really see the big picture or fully understand it, then they could easily take it for granted.
Right.
So what would be some of the things that you would share
Absolutely.
with them, especially for an individual starting in the industry?
Well, with anything, why are you doing it? What's your purpose? What's your reason? It's easy to say, oh, I want to be a star, or I want to be the next, singer, or I want to be on stage in front of 40,000 people. But why do you want to do that? And it's got to be more than money, because money's going to come and go, especially in this industry. You're spending millions of dollars on, and if you look at any major celebrity, they spend millions of dollars on an album, and they hope that it'll be successful. Or, you're spending, multi-million dollars to book, major talent for a movie, and you're hoping that it'll be successful. So it's got to be more than about it. Whether it be a message, whether it be what you, in my situation, I feel like God is directing me on the path that I'm on. And it's my faith that I believe in. That may work for me, but not work for somebody else. But you have to have something that you believe in that's greater than yourself.
All right. I definitely agree. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, man.
I was just going to say, there's a lot of people, like you said, that their focus is on, making money, and you really have to find something more rewarding than just, becoming rich and famous, because there's a lot of work behind that, that you're not going to want to do because you just want to be rich and famous. You have to love to be a model, you have to love to be an actor, you have to love to be an entrepreneur and deal with, different customers on a daily basis. It's not a lot of people, like we've talked about before. Social media is definitely influencing a lot of these, fly by night people that think that they can be famous, because all they see is the glitz and the glamour. They don't see the 500 takes that they had to do of that video before they came up with the good video that they posted on social media. They don't see all that.
Yeah, every overnight celebrity took about 15 years to make.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and it takes time. It takes passion. It takes determination. And even me speaking from an acting standpoint, I started my career at age 11. I was very young. And then through the different channels and different opportunities growing, but I invested in acting classes in New York and Cali, Atlanta, different parts of the country, even online, because I believed in myself that much and I knew that this is what it takes. Similar to how people invest in getting a degree at school, hundreds and thousands of dollars, regardless of what profession it is, investing is very necessary and very important. And even for those individuals who want to start a business, right? And you look, for example, there's a business that you see if you register with the Secretary of State is $500. But then next week you see Bad Bunny's coming to concert and you're quick to spend those $500. But why is that? Why don't you spend those $500 on your business, but you're quick to invest it in Beyonce and Bad Bunny tickets to go see them?
That part.
It's
That
comfort.
part.
It's safety. We're no different than animals, and if you look at any animals in society, in the world, or in the wild, food, shelter, security against prey or predators, that's what it's all about. It's safe, it's comfortable to just come home and sit on the couch. It's comfortable to go to work every day. It's comfortable to, spend the $500 on the, Beyonce tickets, as opposed to, putting that effort into yourself.
Right.
You're looking at, on average, the average entrepreneur spends about 15 days a week, 15 hours a day working, 7 days a week, nights, weekends, holidays, until you get that big break.
Right.
That's not comfortable
At all.
and
No.
we just, as human animals, we want to be safe and comfortable. So that's a big reason why it's easy to sit on the couch and watch television, as opposed to coming up with that or having that idea and actually moving forward with working towards making that idea come to fruition.
Right.
So it's just about comfort.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, and to me, when I hear and see that, I agree with you, Antonio, and that's where I see the difference in people that actually take action and take the bull by the horns. That's the reason why there's only a certain percentage of individuals that are considered business owners or entrepreneurs, or those that really make it, because those are the ones that take that time, take that comfort, and turn it into action for themselves, right? To move forward.
Right.
And so the food for thought here, based on the feedback that you heard from me, from Antonio, and from Manny, is take action. If you want to be different, if you have that idea, if you want to be an actor, model, basketball player, whatever it is that you have your heart desire, business owner, what have you have to get out that comfort zone. It's not going to be easy. You have to invest in yourself. You have to invest versus spending the $500 going to see Beyonce and Jay-Z. Spend the $500 registering that business with the Secretary of State. And I guarantee that you're going to see those results.
Right.
But you have to believe in you before anybody else can believe in you.
Yep.
I would even say that you have to believe in yourself only. Because if you're waiting for people to believe in you, oftentimes you're going to be disappointed, because you're going to look at people who, especially in the Black and brown community, we don't have those legacies. There wasn't a mother or aunt or uncle or your dad, Yessie, who was in acting, who had a successful acting career. So we don't have that point of reference. So how can they tell you how to run your career?
Right.
How can they support you if they never have seen that ever happen?
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
So you have to
Definitely
learn
agree.
how to be your own fan club.
Yes. And there's a quote that I heard it somewhere. You have to be comfortable in uncomfortability. You can't, like you said, people are used to being in a comfort zone. Being in this industry, you have to be uncomfortable with. You have to be comfortable with doing things that you're not usually comfortable with, like public speaking or being in front of a camera or walking a runway. A lot of people, they say they could do it and they want to do it, but at the end of the day, when the opportunity presents itself, either they're going to run or do their thing.
Yeah.
If you really want to be in this industry, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Absolutely. And one other thing I would actually suggest is be strategic with your movement.
Right.
Because you can run in place all day long and still not get anywhere. So make sure that your efforts, your time, your energy, and your money is going into something that's going to advance you. I always
Mm-hmm.
wake up with two things in mind. First, do no harm intentionally.
Right.
And secondly, um, be better than I was yesterday. And that's at whatever. Um, and you have to be your own motivation, but you have to realize that just because you're moving doesn't necessarily mean you're progressing. So
Mm-hmm.
make sure that your movements are always about progression.
Right.
Beautiful. I love it. Food for thought.
Yeah.
Yes, food for thought.
Another thing that I wanted to say before, yes, because I know there's something burning in that mind, yes, I already feel it. Um, everybody doesn't believe in God, but our playbook, our screenplay has kind of already been written. So if you believe in God, God has written your book already. You know what I'm saying? Your screenplay, your movie. You're just living it out. And listen and be patient and watch for those open doors. A lot of people get ahead of themselves and they get discouraged and like, oh, why did they get this, that, and the third? And I didn't get it. It's not your time,
Hmm.
but your door is coming. You're more focused on what they're getting and you might miss your opportunity, because it's over here and you're looking over there. So
Exactly.
you have to be
Yeah,
patient.
I'm reminded. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're
But
good. Go ahead.
I'm reminded of I think Steve Harvey said this. He said that God delivers your blessings or whatever it is that you ask for. He delivers it to you when you ask for it.
All right.
The problem is that everybody has an address on Faith Street. So when God's Amazon drops off your package, it's dropping it off of where He wants you to be, not where you currently are.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
we oftentimes, look at people around us, even go as far as talking, negatively about those people that are blessed on that level. And we keep wondering why they keep getting blessed. But the reality is that God is blessing them in front of you. You
Right.
know, so you are that enemy in the 23rd Psalm that God prepares the table in front of mine enemies. You are
Mm-hmm.
that enemy who's getting that place, that feast placed in
Right.
front of
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
you.
Right.
You have to realize, God has to be in control. Too many things have happened in the world to show that God is in control. Um,
Very much so.
and that's not even talking about my individual life, but just in general. You look at COVID, you look at that was a time where the world shut down, but um, the canals in Italy ran clean for the first time.
Mm.
Um, the smog that was the first time that there had ever in the recent history been days where there was no smog in California during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So that just lets you know that God has um, He has a way of fixing things if we just allow Him to do that.
Right.
Hmm.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And talking about God, Antonio, you've been creating and writing. Well, you already have the script, an amazing project that really is. I consider it to be faith based for sure, and I'm sure
Right.
you would agree with that. But can you share a little bit more of the upcoming project that you have and why it's so important for everyone to really to feel it, to grasp it, to see
So,
it when it is ready to be released?
so this is it's a mother's love. I'm actually wearing. Um, sorry, my camera dropped. I'm actually wearing some of the merch from it. So, A Mother's Love, the tagline is a gripping mother-daughter tale that shows the depths a mother would go to save her baby. Uh, it's a anti-human trafficking story of a mother who, a daughter who, against her mother's wishes, applies for an opportunity to be a model. She gets it, and during the course of that process, she actually becomes, somewhat famous, and everything looks great. But the mom just feels some way about it, and realizes ultimately that it is a front for human trafficking. Um, and the mom is ultimately left to search for a way of actually finding her daughter, which she ultimately calls upon some people from her past. She rescues her daughter, and we follow the court case, the rehabilitation and reintegration of the young lady um, into society. Ultimately, we end it with a happy ending. So she comes out on the other side of things, um, happy, successful, married, expecting a new child, and I just kind of ended there. But it's a really gripping story. We touch upon a lot of different things. A lot of the comments that you guys are seeing coming from cast members. Actually, super blessed to have Miss Jessie Rodriguez as the mother in this project.
Oh,
She was a star.
look at that!
Um,
Congratulations.
so
Thank you.
she's doing an amazing job. She brings a lot to to the table. Um, from her experience, she's been invaluable as far as her acting coaching, because we're dealing with a lot of talent that is um, uncultivated. I won't say new. I won't say they're unseasoned. They don't know what they're doing or they've never done it before. Just say uncultivated. They just never had an opportunity. And
Right.
this is my chance to give people an opportunity. And with Yessie and Marcelo's help, who is also another acting coach that's part of the cast, it's the growth and the development in each individual character has been amazing.
It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait till it comes out. We'll see it.
Um, we're looking forward to it. We actually go into production actually really really soon.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
We are. And so upon speaking with Antonio on several conversations, he did say that this is a script that God put upon him, which is why I correlated it to being faith-based, because this is something that God put upon him. He used Antonio as a vessel to write out the script, write out the project. And thus now we're at the phase, like he just mentioned, where we're about to go into production and bring it into fruition so that the whole world can really feel and absorb and just really take on the message that a mother's love is sharing. So I'm excited about that.
Because
Yeah,
one
I'm
of the
definitely
things that
excited.
I really want to do with this project, and I feel that God believes that it's time for this to happen. Um, and I'm going to throw some statistics out at you guys really quickly. Um, 2,300 people go missing every year in the every month in the United States. That's 27,000 people. 90% of them are never found again.
Mm-hmm.
80% of them are black and brown.
Right.
3 out of 5 people that you meet are either experience some type of human trafficking or are somehow affiliated with it through, a friend, a relative, or something of that nature. So literally, you're
Right.
walking the street, and every 5 people, 3 of those people have been through some of the most atrocious things that you can imagine happening to people. Um,
Mm.
and it's hard to believe, but we pass by it every day. That kid in the mall that is cutting up and we don't know why, oh my God, I would beat that kid or whatever your thought process is. How do you know that that's their parent?
Right.
Right.
You know, there have been experiments where people have actually gone and snatched kids off the street in a public setting with people walking by and nobody respond. We see on the news, this happened in this city, this happened in that city. It can't just, you can't just disappear 27,000 people.
Right.
You know, and again, 90% of those people are never found. How?
Mm.
The reality is, in some cases, you don't want to find it. You know, you don't want to find those people because some of the worst things that you can imagine, you know, literally, I look at traffickers and I call them modern day vampires because they suck the life and the life force out of their victim.
Right.
Mhm.
Oftentimes, their victims are never ever going to be the same.
Nope.
And
Never.
this is an epidemic. So, you know, I feel that God placed it on my heart to step up. And when I said that I would, he literally gave me downloads. It's not like I literally don't take credit for writing the script because he'll give me an entire scene, sometimes 2, 3 scenes that have nothing to do with each other. And I just put them, you know, I just put them in the right format. And then I read through it, or we'll do our script reads, and I'll hear it, and I'm like, wait a minute. That's what the reference was in that previous episode. That might have been 2, 3 episodes prior.
Right.
God is a basket weaver, in my opinion, and he's, you know, this project is a basket that he's weaving.
Yep. Yep. It's amazing.
Wow.
I
That is
can't wait.
true.
Definitely can't wait to work with y'all. It's gonna be fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
So
yes,
there are.
for the cast
Go ahead.
Manny is actually coming on board as a bouncer.
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna definitely travel to North Carolina. I'm coming up there.
We look forward.
Yeah, we have an amazing cast, and they're super talented. Different variations, walks of life. They're just they're dope. They're really great. So shout out to the cast and crew, and just we're gonna rock it.
Absolutely. And one of the things that's different about this project is there is a significant concentration on Black and Brown, but we have so many different nationalities as part of this project. You know, Jamaican. One young lady is originally from Ethiopia by way of New Zealand. We have, of course, Yessie from Puerto Rico. So we're not just representing one, you know, one diaspora, one look.
Right.
The diversity in this cast is just amazing.
Absolutely, I agree. Manny just saying, "Welcome to the family."
Yes.
It
Thank
was
you.
welcoming you on. That's awesome. I will say for those individuals who are listening and watching, to become familiar with recognizing signs of human sex trafficking, I encourage you to visit humantraffickinghotline.org and also to dhs.gov. They give insight onto different ways that you can detect or signs to pick up determining if someone is a victim of sex trafficking or human trafficking. Also, there is the National Human Trafficking Resource Center at 1-888-373-7888, or you can text Be Free by texting 233733, and they can also help you with determining some signs and recognizing it, because it's always good to be familiar, be aware, because you just never know. You can be helping somebody, and that's what we're here for. Let's help each other out. Let's save somebody's life today.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I definitely second that. If you don't mind, I'd love to add 3 other organizations to that list. They are a wealth of knowledge and information. They also have they individually have different things that they do as far as educating. One of those is Vets for Child Rescue. Um, that is a nonprofit organization based out of Arizona. Um,
Okay.
what their concentration is more of an action based. But if you go to their website, they have amazing information on how to protect yourself, how to protect your children, what signs to look out for. Even though it's run by a former Navy SEAL, and they actually work with law enforcement to go in and extract human trafficking victims. They provide sort of overwatch in those
Wow,
situations.
that's awesome.
Um, then there's the DEMP project out of Orlando, I believe it's Orlando, Florida. They are a tremendous resource for children. Um, so they provide information, stories, books, stuff of that nature that you can actually purchase, both through their website as well as they give reference to other sources, um, as far as how to protect your children, and how to introduce your children to advocating for themselves. Um, and it's based upon their the age that they are along the way. And lastly, Lion 195 out of Indianapolis, Indiana. The young lady who runs that is a whistleblower. She is very active in bringing awareness to human trafficking and how it has matriculated throughout the government and law enforcement and other aspects of society. And they're actually in the process of currently raising money to open a 200-bed facility for human trafficking victims.
That's
So I
cool.
definitely want to
That's
highlight those
awesome.
three organizations.
That's
Thank you for
dope.
sharing that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Sometimes we just get wrapped up into our own lives that we don't, like you said, there could be a child in the grocery store. We don't know if that's their parent. And it's like we just get wrapped up in our lives, and society has become that's none of my business, you
Yeah.
know, type of society. So it's like nobody, we're all supposed to be a tribe, taking care of each other, and it's like everybody's all for themselves these days, and they don't, and it's sad
It
because
is.
some kids have it so bad at home that when they do get taken, they feel like this is where I need to be because home wasn't any better, you know. So it's
Well,
really
see,
sad.
there's a
Sad.
lot of mental things, situations that people are exposed to that
Mm,
lead them to be more susceptible. Um, as you mentioned, that young lady who's having issues at home, when met with the opportunity of getting out of that situation, whether it be, a photographer, giving her, a shot at being a model, or, um, it could just be some random guy, um, with, a nice car and, conceivably a a bank account.
mm,
um, they're looking at those better situations.
right.
But one thing I want, people to be aware of is that, and I know Yesie's familiar with this, but Manny, I'm not sure if you do. There is a international symbol for, asking for help in those situations, and
Hmm.
most people aren't aware of it. And it's simply this: if you ever see a child or a young woman and they hold their hands up like this, fold their thumb into the palm of their hand and close their hand and do it in reverse repeatedly. That is the international symbol for help me. I'm in a it
Situation.
loosely is I'm in a dangerous situation, but it's
Right.
specifically more affiliated with human trafficking.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I was aware of that. I've seen a couple different commercials or whatever. But yeah, it's
And it's
definitely
great that
sad.
it's getting out there.
Yeah,
It's definitely great that it's getting out there more, but not enough people know about it to even recognize it. You know, we don't look at situations the same way anymore. You know, it used to be if
right,
you saw a child, your immediate response is, "Oh my God, how can I help them?"
right.
Now
Right.
it's okay. If I approach this child, what's going to happen? You know,
Hmm.
what's mom going to think if she's on another aisle and me or Manny approach this kid? Is automatically going to be assumed that we're trying to do something when we may
Right,
just simply trying to find
right,
what's going on with this child. Why is this child here on the child all alone? Um,
right.
so there are a lot of different things that are causing us to be so desensitized to the situation, but we got to look beyond that. Again, 2,300 people going missing every month.
Wow,
Is ridiculous numbers.
definitely ridiculous. Hmm.
Absolutely. Wow. This is definitely a deep conversation. Antonio, we would definitely love to have you for a
Yes,
part two later on in the year.
has to be a
Continue the
part.
conversation, and hopefully we can get some of the cast on the call as well to share their
Yes,
experience. Because I'm sure at that point we'll be post production to kind of share their experience on set and how they feel about just the production as a whole. So
Yeah, well,
be
honestly,
awesome.
and I think we kind of touched upon this. I would love for you guys to actually come on set and do a live show.
Hey, that sounds good. Hey, I'm down for traveling, man. I'm
Let's
down for
do it.
traveling.
I would
Let's
love that.
absolutely.
That'll be
Yeah,
dope. We'll
definitely.
coordinate that for sure. Yes. This has been a juicy conversation and
Yes,
we can keep going and
yes.
going, but the sad reality is time to slowly pivot to closing the segment. I'm heartbroken because this is a deep conversation and I highly encourage you all, please do research, please do your homework. We shared so many nuggets today
Right.
between politics, human trafficking, weather, a little bit of everything, spirituality. We just, hey, this is what Oyandia is. We aim to motivate, enlighten, inspire, entertain, and educate you with each and every episode. And I know we did that today. Manny, do you feel it? Because I feel it.
Yes, I do. I definitely
An-
feel it. I definitely feel it.
Antonio, do you feel it? Because I feel it.
Absolutely, I do.
Yes, yes. And I hope you all feel it too. So we're going to pivot over to the last minute words of encouragement, how people can find you, social media, etc. Manny, lead us to the exit.
All right. So, as I usually say, the quote that I came up with: "Never let the fear of failure overcome the righteousness of success." Um, you have to step through that door. You have to try to do what your heart's telling you to do. Like we talked about, God already wrote your book. You just have to put that foot forward, step through that door, and don't be scared to fail, because we had to learn how to walk somehow. We had to learn how to talk. We failed at that at the beginning. Why not take a chance on your dreams and be successful? And like I always say, I'm not talking about monetary success, because that's going to come and go. Like Antonio said, success is the happiness that you get from accomplishing the things that you thought that you couldn't accomplish. So step through that door. It's fun on this side. You can find me on social media, Author Manny Morales, IG and Facebook. If you want to book Lovers Are Magic, just DM me and I will send you a autographed copy. My model page is Manny Morales 1824, and Lovers Are Magic, the series, is definitely coming soon. So look out for that. How about you, Mr. How do you say your last name?
It's
Dewar?
actually Dewar. Doer is the pronunciation.
Oh, okay. So how about you? Some inspiring words for our viewers and where they can find you. Although you don't have a big social media. I've been on your social media. You don't
Um,
post a lot, sir.
I'm not really a big social media person. I've been kind of recluse over the last year and a half working on this project. But if you want to find me, it's Google HASS Entertainment. Have a tremendous footprint, internet footprint. So we can definitely be found that way. We do have a lot of different social media platforms that are out there. And we pay attention to the messages and stuff of that nature. We're just not big on posting and stuff of that, until we have the right content.
Right.
But as far as encouraging words, I think we both, well, Manny and I, and Yessie as well, we touched upon, the biggest thing is, everything starts with one step. Take that one step, and just because that door didn't open, or just because, that situation didn't work out, don't look at it as failure. Look at it as opportunity to learn that's not the direction that you want to go to. And trust God.
That's awesome. That's definitely awesome. What about you, Yessie?
Yes, I got a mouthful to say. First, I want to say thank you, gracias, to our listeners, our viewers, to our special guest, Antonio. Manny, thank you for always being a super dope co-host. And I really appreciate each and every one of you for taking time to watch us, to listen to us, and to our sponsors. So shout out to our sponsors. We're going to hear a quick commercial from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Sponsored by Collective Wear. Sponsored by author Manny Morales. Sponsored by Divine Beauty and Accessories. Watch Hoy en Día TV, Thursdays, 7:30 p.m.
All right, and for those who want to be on sponsor on Hoy en Día TV, we welcome you. Estamos aquí para recibirte. Bienvenidos. Just email the email below, hoyendiatv@gmail.com. We have sponsor packages available. We are a worldwide platform. We are viewed and heard all over the place. There's too many to name, so I'm not going to name them. But
everybody except
all
Apple.
over the place.
Everybody except Apple.
Right. Guys, in a nutshell, yes, everything but Apple, because Apple's since I'm a Samsung gal, I think Apple's like beating on me on the low, but it's all good because it's all good, right? Anywho, so yes, and also for those who want to find me, follow me, look more about who Yessie is, because I do a little bit of everything. Just Google YESSE Rodriguez, Yessie Rodriguez. You'll find my social media handles, a little bit more about me. And if you want to work with me, I also offer model and acting coaching. I'm here to help you out. And for those who even want to be a special guest on Hoy en Día, if you have an interesting topic or if you have a business you want to promote, we welcome you as well. Again, email hoyendiatv@gmail.com. And as for last minute words, my favorite, my all-time.
Y'all ready for this? Here we go.
Yes, ready for this. And I get it, because part of it I blame Biggie Smalls for saying in that song, "The sky's the limit," right? But let's reframe that. That was back in the 90s, right? Let's think present time. We're in 2025 now. And actually, this was a quote that I created back in 2011, because me being the person that I am, very analytical, I was like, the sky's the limit. It wasn't rubbing right with me. And so I was actually right. My theory was right. If you all take the time to Google Kármán line, Karman, that means that there is a boundary between the Earth's atmosphere, or what's considered the skyline, to outer space. And that boundary is actually 62 miles above the sea level, which means that every time you say the sky's the limit, you're actually putting a barrier within yourself. So with that in mind, don't refrain, if you can, from saying sky's the limit, and start saying this, the quote that Yessie Rodriguez made up: "The sky is never the limit, because the galaxies, they're endless." Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time. Hasta luego, mi gente.